Here are 5 simple ways to keep the spark alive in your marriage for busy people. A simple way to keep the spark alive for busy people is to come back to gratitude for your partner, your marriage, and your life together. When you have such a busy schedule, you have so many things on, you can get caught up in the checking off of your to-do list. And in that process, forget about all the ways in which your partner supports you and supports your marriage and contributes to your marriage.
It's really important to appreciate and acknowledge the little things, how they laugh in a certain way or how they tell really dorky jokes. Appreciating all of the different aspects of what makes them unique and who they are as a person and how they bring so much to your marriage and your connection.
If you think back to the beginning of your relationship, that's what people do, right? We give a lot of appreciation and gratitude to people when they're new in our lives because it's a novelty, it's fresh, it's exciting. And as you go along in your marriage, you forget that all those parts of that person are still there. You may have kids, you may have schedules, you may have a lot of work to do, but they're still that same person underneath all of that. When you get into that space of gratitude, you're getting to see them again and they feel seen by you. That keeps the spark alive.
The next way to keep the spark alive for busy people is to schedule your connection time. It doesn't sound very juicy.
Sparky.
And sparky, but it actually makes a huge impact because you're making a point to prioritize the time that you have with one another. And we get busy. We have a lot of things going on. We ourselves have a lot of things going on. These podcasts just don't shoot themselves. And at the end of the day, we make it a priority to put our marriage and our connection first.
You don't have to necessarily schedule how that connection is going to go. It's more so about carving out that time in your schedules. You may just cuddle. You may have the hottest, most delicious intimacy you've ever had. It might go kind of funky. It's not about the end goal. It's just about getting into a practice of making that space for each other. And the more that you do that and release the pressure around how it needs to go, the more spark you're going to build back between you and the more juicy and connected it's going to get. The next way to keep the spark alive for busy people is to understand each other's love languages. There are 5 love languages, and you don't necessarily have only one. There is one in particular. Gabriel does not have it all, unfortunately for me. So the 5 languages are, do you want to start us off?
Well, we'll start with my favorite one, which is gifts.
That's the one he doesn't care about.
I'm just like, oh, thank you. But I give myself everything I could ever want.
Yeah. So gifts is one of them. There's also quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and words of affirmation.
Being curious and understanding how your partner works, what makes them tick, is so key here. And it's fun to get to say, hey, what are your preferences? What do you like? What makes you feel really loved and filled up? Once you understand that, then you can take actions towards making that a reality. It's important to not focus on, are they going to do a good enough job of this? Are they going to give me what I want? Instead, from the place of the joy of giving, how can I show up and embody the way that they desire to receive it, because it's about them. And it feels great to give and appreciate someone that you love and care about. I love doing that for you.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes that couples make that kills the spark is showing love. I mean, this sounds so crazy, but it's showing love in the way that you like to receive love. For instance, a physical touch person might be like, let's connect every day intimately. But if your partner is a words of affirmation person, then you wanting to connect every single day may not signify to them that you are loving and appreciating them. They want to hear you say, I love you, I desire you. And for that person, them telling their partner, I love you, I desire you, I appreciate you, is not going to land in the same way that having that physical connection, cuddles, intimacy is. You want to communicate with your partner what your love languages are, and for them to communicate with you what theirs are, and then make sure that you're showing love and demonstrating love to your partner in the way that feels the most resonant for them. That's going to keep the spark alive, because the spark dies when you feel disconnected, when you feel unseen, when you feel unappreciated by your partner, and life gets in the way and things become routines. It's really easy to keep that spark alive if you're being conscious and aware of speaking to them in the love language that they really appreciate.
Next way to keep the spark alive for busy people is to have a weekly check-in. And by that, we mean don't just sweep things under the rug, say, oh, let's chat about it later. I'm a bit busy. Own it, share it, and find a way to have those issues or things that come up, or gratitudes and celebrations as well, which are all part of a weekly check-in, be shared and bring you closer together, rather than letting the gap that might be there widen and expand over time.
What you want to share in a weekly check-in is something that you're really happy with, something that's working really well in your marriage, something that you want to improve. And also bring up any concerns that you may have, feelings that might have been surfacing, things that you've been holding back in marriage over time. If you don't deal with those issues, they start to pile up. Even if you never argue, or you think, oh, it's fine, I'll just let it go, it still builds up over time. And that wall gets built between you, and the spark dies. You want to bring down that wall. If that's something that you're interested in getting support around, that is what we do. We help you clear away the emotional baggage and unhealthy patterns that have been keeping you stuck, and rewire you for marriage success. And if you're interested in more of that, you can check out our offers linked in the show notes. Finally, another simple way to keep the spark alive for busy people is curiosity.
Your partner is always evolving and changing and shifting, just like you are as an individual. Staying in that energy of, who is this amazing person that I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with, and how can I continue to learn more and more about them?
One of the things that will kill the spark is feeling bored. Boredom happens when you make the assumption that you know everything there is to know about this person, especially long-term in marriage. The ways to foster curiosity is to ask your partner questions. I know years ago you said X or Y, or last year or 3 months ago. How do you feel about it now? What's something that's really exciting you right now? All the kinds of questions that you would ask someone that you're just starting to date. You want to keep asking those questions throughout your marriage. That is what keeps the curiosity alive, and that's what keeps the spark alive.